think we're gonna get going with the evening. Thank you. First of all, welcome everyone to New Canaan's Volunteer Recognition Awards evening. It's especially gratifying to see such spirit remain strong despite the COVID challenges. I'm Laura Dobbin. I'm the chair of the New Canaan Community Foundation board and representing the Community Foundation here tonight. We're honored to be able to sponsor these awards, especially to see all the young kids in the room. I want to thank the Volunteer Recognition Committee, especially the chairs Tracy, Carl, and Marley Thackeray, all volunteers as well. Yay! For another outstanding job in making this evening happen. By enabling the recognition of volunteers in our town, we highlight one of the most special things about New Canaan. We value volunteerism, and we value taking care of our neighbors. At the Community Foundation, volunteerism is integral to our work, and we completely embrace it. We have just sent out the letters of inquiry or the initial grant applications to potential grant recipients, which typically results in over 100 volunteers personally visiting and meeting with the organizations over the winter. We lead into this with our annual appeal, which is currently being kicked off, to raise funds to distribute to these organizations. All done with the enthusiastic and critical support of many, many volunteers, just like yourselves. So a very heartfelt thank you to all the award winners tonight. Can't wait to hear all about you. You're deeply deserving of your award, and you have made a difference. Your volunteerism, whether at the youth or senior level and at every age in between, is knitting the fabric that makes the town we love so strong. We all appreciate your work and your example. Thank you.
So I get to present the first award this evening, which is for Felicia Alford, who I see back there. There she is. Felicia was nominated by Sarah Tucker of the New Canaan Mounted Troop for her role as Vice President of the Board of Directors and as Volunteer Coordinator for the Super Troopers, which is a therapeutic program held at the Mounted Troop. Felicia has given her all to the New Canaan Mounted Troop since the moment she stepped through the barn doors in 2014 and joined the board. Her dedication and tireless passion for all things troop is remarkable. There is not an area of the organization that she has not had her hand in to help out. As Vice President of the board, Felicia helps with the fundraising committee. It's a hard job, and she continues to support the organization and its numerous events with determination to make each event more successful than the last. She has succeeded on this goal. As volunteer coordinator, she maintains an active list of 100 volunteers, schedules them for training and in their roles as volunteers, horse leaders, equine care volunteers, and sidewalkers for the 675 plus annual lessons conducted by the therapeutic instructors. Felicia is also instrumental in keeping the facilities in top shape by heading up family work days and general maintenance activity days at the barn. She is hands-on in being part of the work team as well as managing all of the volunteers. New Canaan Mounted Troop is truly blessed to have Felicia as a board leader, the vice president, fundraising committee chair, and as their volunteer coordinator. I am thrilled to present Felicia with the Board Leadership MVP Award.
Okay, we're presenting the Community Spirit Award to Patricia Spugani. Where is Patricia? Raise your hand. There you go. Patricia Spugani has been the embodiment of community spirit for one of New Canaan's oldest cultural institutions. And I'm not talking about her husband, Joel. The 75 years young Town Players of New Canaan is New Canaan's all-volunteer, nonprofit community theater tucked away at the Powerhouse in Waveney Park. They're one of the crown jewels of our community. In the 30-plus years I had spent with the Town Players, I often talked about the volume of volunteerism and the thousands of hours it takes to put on a show. Since Patricia has joined the Town Players, she has taken the organization to another level with her drive, her dedication, and her community spirit. Thanks to her extraordinary outreach, the Town Players have reached a higher profile through her single-handed efforts to create the elusive buzz around town. Thinking out of the box, Patricia partnered with New Canaan STEM programs to promote girl power in the sciences during the run of Rocket Girl last year. She even arranged for playwright George Morgan to come from California to speak with kids at New Canaan schools, lecture at the New Canaan Library, and sign books for Elm Street Bookstore. She worked with the cast and production team to establish a daytime performance of a play for local and underprivileged kids from Bridgeport. And due to her efforts, the shows were sold out. During the pandemic, Patricia has been working tirelessly, continuing to raise the local exposure of the town players, while also promoting the overall importance of performing arts to the residents of New Canaan. She has identified multiple grant opportunities and took on the time-consuming task of completing them, and we all know how much it takes to complete those. She was instrumental in winning the theater a much-needed grant from the Canaan Community Foundation, so important after being shut out of federal and state shuttered venue COVID dollars. Patricia gained support from the Exchange Club of New Canaan to benefit a new theater partner, Open Arts Alliance, that works with local disadvantaged or displaced kids in creating a safe family environment in the theater arts while promoting community service. And she's done all this while designing lighting for many productions, a skill she mastered in part because the theater needed a lighting person. Anytime, anywhere there is a need, Patricia is there to do whatever is necessary, and she also finds time to donate her talents to other New Canaan nonprofits, including the Beautification League, the Farmers Market, as well as others. She is a true purveyor of community spirit. Patricia, please accept the Community Spirit Award.
I'm presenting to Lainey Lloyd. Food Rescue US is a nonprofit committed to reducing hunger and food waste. Lainey Lloyd has been a volunteer since their founding in 2011 and has completed more than 100 rescues. When she first started with the organization, formerly known as Community Plates, she volunteered as a food rescuer, picking up and transporting excess food from grocery stores and restaurants to agencies serving those in need. Lainey has also supported various projects, including sourcing food for individuals with dietary restrictions. In September of 2020, Lainey took on the role of volunteer coordinator, a position that focuses on recruiting, coordinating, and supporting the group's volunteers. The position was initially created to help volunteers acclimate to the newest version of the Food Rescue app. However, the position expanded due to Lainey's success, and soon she was recruiting and coordinating volunteers for large food distributions and has completed more than 800 volunteer hours in this role. In response to COVID-19, Food Rescue US Fairfield County partnered with the USDA Farmers to Families program to distribute food boxes to those in need. Lainey attended each and every one of the distributions, whether it was 15 degrees out or raining. After the first one, she realized the need for someone to direct traffic. She showed up on the second morning with a traffic safety vest, and after directing the 30 volunteers on their roles for the day and answering questions, she put on her vest and set off to direct cars streaming in and out of the lot. With Lainey's hands-on approach, they were able to distribute all of the boxes without any traffic jams or fender benders. And Lainey returned every week to support the volunteers and direct traffic. This is only one of the many Lainey stories that highlight her incredible problem-solving skills, organization, and determination. Danielle Blaine, the site director, said about Lainey, "When food insecurity had tripled at the height of the pandemic, I contacted 1,000 volunteers asking for help. Lainey was one of 2 volunteers to respond, saying she could help wherever she was needed. Over the past 18 months, she has worked to educate and train over 841 volunteers. She helps daily to make sure things go smoothly. Lainey's a volunteer rock star and our MVP." I'd also like to note that that Lainey's been the food rescue liaison to Walter Stewart's for our daily pickups and has taken time out of her busy schedule to meet with our team to educate us about the mission and impact of food rescue. So Lainey was not able to attend tonight, but accepting is Danielle Blaine, site director.
I met Jane Fox a long time ago. Our children were in a twos preschool program together, and she, while sitting on the little rug, encouraged me to join the Young Women's League. The Young Women's League started my adult volunteer journey, and I've always been thankful for her for that introduction. Jane was on the board of the Young Women's League for many years and a past president, and over the years she's been on the board of Visiting Nurse and Hospice of Fairfield County and a founding board member of the New Canaan Chamber Music, where she's been instrumental with their success with her tremendous marketing experience. Jane joined the Rotary Club of New Canaan in 2019, having been a past president and longtime member of the Rotary Club of Rye, New York, and quickly stepped into various volunteer roles. Little did she or anyone else know what was in store. As the COVID-19 pandemic altered everyone's lives, the club debated the fate of their largest annual fundraiser, the Lobster Fest, a traditional in-person event where club members prepare and serve over 1,500 lobster dinners to community members. Jane was an early proponent of a reimagined format. She stepped up and led the marketing efforts that helped produce record results. At a time when most nonprofits were struggling to raise funds and seeing an increase in demand for many services, Jane managed to rally support from within the Rotary and helped energize their membership around the idea of making the reimagined 35th Annual Lobster Fest a success. Jane has an engaging, can-do attitude about everything she undertakes. She is relentless and focused on the mission at all times and has been a favorite of many people to work with. For the Lobster Fest, she combined her professional marketing experience with her sheer will to see the club raise funds needed to support the needs of area nonprofit organizations. On the New Canaan Chamber Music Board, she has been working tirelessly and professionally to brand them, prepare media plans, all of the marketing and advertising, develop the website, social media, and has gathered lists of hundreds of potential concert goers. She always has a smile on her face, even when the pressure's on, and her efforts have been most appreciated and noticed by everyone that she works with, including myself. And because of that, I am very proud to present Jane Fox with the Community Spirit Award.
Hi, I'm Eloise Killefer, a dyed-in-the-wool volunteer, so I'm with you. And it is my profound pleasure to present the New Canaan Community Foundation's 2021 Rookie of the Year Award to Janine Sochi, who we are told prefers the shortened form of her name, so Neen it is. Neen may be a rookie in the sense that she is new to staying put in New Canaan, her nominating organization, but her special contributions to staying put are those of a seasoned pro. Neen came to staying put during COVID, eager to find a way to make the lives of sequestered seniors a bit brighter. Because so many volunteers with staying put were already attending to the needs of staying put members, Neen came up with a very creative contribution at a special time when seniors were made homebound by a pandemic, and that was during Easter, was a special time when it really, really was difficult. Neen, her firefighter husband Michael, their children, and a number of friends delivered flowering plants to all of Staying Put's 150 families on Easter Sunday. She raised funds from community residents, purchased the flowers, loaded them onto a trailer, wrote notes to each family, and added a few candies and plastic Easter eggs. She then arranged for a group of volunteers to deliver these surprises to each member's home. The reactions were predictably joyous, and this one says it all. What a treat to have Michael Sochi deliver an adorable begonia potted with pink bunny ears to my doorstep, just as the Milan Cathedral performance had ended. Thank you so much. The bunny ears just tickled me. And I am equally tickled to recognize Neen as the New Canaan Community Foundation's 2021 Rookie of the Year. P.S. If you ask ever so nicely, I'm sure Neen has photos of the baskets on her phone.
Todd Lampert. I'm one of the directors over at the New Canaan Community Foundation, and I have the honor of presenting the Board Leadership MVP Award to Laura Pla from the New Canaan Museum and Historical Society. Laura joined the board of the New Canaan Museum and Historical Society in June of 2018, and she has been working nonstop there ever since. Prior to her joining the board, she was concerned that the mid-century modern houses in New Canaan were being torn down, and she wanted to promote awareness of their architectural significance, which is obviously pretty important in New Canaan. Laura resurrected the modern house day tour that had been started by the architect Elliot Noyes back in 1949, and the modern house day tour is now the museum's signature event, a major fundraiser, and draws attendees from all over the country. In addition, Laura also helped create exhibition committees for the board to help coordinate programs and exhibitions. She helped to curate the major shoes exhibition, which we saw last year, as well as a sold-out luncheon program related to that. But Laura's most significant contribution to date is the October 4 Design, a month-long celebration of art, architecture, design, and community. She presented this idea to the Tourism and Economic Advisory Committee of New Canaan back in December of 2019 as a way to bring nonprofits and other businesses together to promote what New Canaan is known for. The first year was virtual, but she still was able to coordinate designs for the website, organize virtual programs, including 2 for children in this year's event. She also worked with a film production company to make a short documentary of 3 significant modern homes in New Canaan that will be part of a virtual fundraiser for the museum this February. I was actually lucky enough to live in one of those while we were renovating our house over last winter. I lived in the guest house, and the film that's going to come out is phenomenal. It's really a good representation of New Canaan and all the moderns, so a really good event there. One of her many exceptional attributes is that she has her commitment to helping the museum become a more important cultural institution in New Canaan. She cares about standards. She works tirelessly to make sure what she does is of the highest quality, organized, budget conscious, and able to bring together different groups of people to work towards a common goal. She's admired by her fellow board members, both for her dedication and her enthusiasm. Laura's brought countless numbers of people, including all the staff from the Glass House, to tour the museum. She's a fabulous ambassador to the community, even recently got a $1,000 donation in her honor, and her boundless energy, creativity, and enthusiasm is contagious for anybody that knows her. Finally, Laura's supportive of other board members' projects and interests. She provides encouragement to all. She helps and even gives financial support for items that she's not involved with. She's a creative thinker, a great collaborator, and because of her network, she has also helped the museum broaden its reach in the community and strengthen relationships with other nonprofits. Because of her work with the New Canaan Museum and Historical Society, I'm happy to present Laura with the 2021 Board MVP Award. I don't think Laura's here, so I think I'm taking it for her, right? I'm not sure if anybody's coming here, so I will accept this on behalf of Laura, who's done a great job for New Canaan.
Good evening, everyone. It is such a pleasure to recognize Lindsey Vaughn for his work and dedication to the high schoolers at Future 5 with this hands-on MVP award. By my understanding, the story began with a conversation with Eads Johnson, husband of one of the co-founders of Future 5. For those who are unfamiliar with this amazing organization, Future 5 helps motivate under-resourced students in Stamford with the goal of connecting them to people, resources, and experience to help them transition to post-secondary education and then on to careers. In 2013, Lindsay began as a college coach, guiding not one, but often 2 students each year through the process and building these really important relationships that change the trajectory of these children's lives. His determination and his compassion that he shows to the students, who often have a very challenging road both behind and ahead of them, has built trusting relationships and eased what we know can be a very daunting college application process. Even during COVID and all the challenges that brought, Lindsay remained committed to his student and helped him get to college. Lindsay eventually joined the advisory board and then the board of directors, where he has served as vice chairman since 2019. In his time at Future 5, he has also been the chairman of the Strategic Planning Committee, created the first annual golf event, and was on the search committee in 2017 for the new executive director. As his nominator, Megan Carey, told us, Lindsay's impact on student lives and on the organization has been invaluable. We on the committee are humbled by your contributions and your commitment to enriching our community and our neighboring one. Thank you so much, Lindsay.
This is so fun to hear about all these amazing people. Bob Doran is known to many organizations in and around town for his willingness to always lend his technical, AV, and production skills, as well as share his deep commitment to the true definition of supporting your community. Bob rarely says no, and when one asks for his help, and when he says yes, you get all of him and then some. When COVID hit and the lockdown began, the Chamber of Commerce struggled to find a way to keep our local businesses alive and how to get customers into the stores, even though they were all closed. We created a series of Zoom downtown events that allowed shoppers and residents to enjoy being brought inside our local shops, our restaurants, and to hear from our nonprofits while sitting in the safety of their own living rooms. Each business was able to present some of their offerings and also gave the shoppers a chance to see so many of the familiar faces that we've all come to know as being the backbone of our wonderful businesses. Bob did all the behind-the-scenes work to make the series a huge success. His effort made the difference from businesses going from surviving to thriving. Bob immediately stepped up and volunteered his expertise to handle not only the technical details of making the Zoom broadcast run smoothly, but he worked with the store owners, each one of them individually, to make sure that each of their segments looked professional. In fact, our series was so successful that many of our neighboring towns started calling, asking how we were able to do it, and our answer was, Bob. That's why we were able to pull it off. We had hundreds of viewers for each session of the series. Bob has a long history of volunteerism in New Canaan. He's been part of the New Canaan Town Players for over 30 years, 10 being on the board and 5 as president, the New Canaan Dance Club member, and VP. He helped initially start the New Canaan Abuse Prevention Partnership and is currently producing the Talking About It community broadcast. He's been an advisory member of the Domestic Violence Crisis Center, a trustee to the Westport Country Playhouse, a past member of the Tourism and Economic Development Advisory Committee. He served on the New Canaan Community Center Grant Assessment Committee member, been an advisory member at the Norwalk Community College Foundation, and has logged decades of years in hosting the Gridiron Club of New Canaan. He's held leadership roles on New Canaan TV Channel 79, which includes 60 years of original programming, including 2 holiday concerts. He's produced galas for Voices of 9/11, Staying Put, and the New Canaan Land Trust. He's worked with the high school drama program. He's co-founded the popular New Canaan Chamber Music Organization. All the while, he's consulted with many local nonprofits on various projects, strategic communications projects, each year including branding and marketing workshops. Bob epitomizes what it means to be an active and engaged volunteer at the highest level, and we are deeply grateful to him for all his work on behalf of the community. It is a great honor to present Bob with the Hands-On Hall of Fame Award.
This year's Youth Rookie of the Year recipient is Henry Benton for his work with Horizons at New Canaan Country School. Horizons is a full-year academic and enrichment program which serves under-resourced Stanford and Norwalk public school students K through 12. Henry, a 2021 graduate of New Canaan High School, approached Horizons in the winter of 2020 and offered to lead the summer students in a stock market learning experience he had created called the Mock Stock Challenge. Henry met with Horizons leadership team, walked them through the curriculum and logistics. They were incredibly impressed with Henry's maturity and with the experiential nature of the program he'd created, which gave students the experience of picking stocks and tracking their growth and value, with the top earners to be named as winners at the end of the program. COVID-19 created a great deal of uncertainty about the 2020 summer program. Henry stayed in touch with Horizons throughout the spring and was very flexible about how he would deliver the program to their students. In June, they made the final decision to operate summer learning virtually, the first time in the organization's 56-year history that it would not be operated in person. Henry effortlessly adapted his program to a virtual format and worked closely with the ninth grade teachers to develop a schedule and engage students. Engaging ninth graders in summer learning can be a challenge, so Henry secured a sponsorship from Bankwell for $650 in cash prizes for the participants. Henry's enthusiasm for finance helped him generate interest and excitement for his material, and he built a strong rapport with the students. He made himself available throughout the 5-week program to answer questions and help them evaluate various investment strategies. He was generous with his time and adjusted his schedule and approach throughout the summer to maximize student participation. Teachers said he had a wealth of knowledge, was an excellent teacher, and a complete joy to work with. In addition to his work with Horizons, Henry dedicated himself to community service throughout his high school years. He was a member of the Service League of Boys. He designed and taught courses about 3D software and printing at the library, and he provided tech instruction to senior residents at Waveney Care Center. It's my pleasure to present the Rookie of the Year Award to Henry Benton.
Wait, you're Henry?
I am so honored to present our Unsung Hero Award to Sandy Siegel, an outstanding volunteer who has dedicated over 20 years and countless hours of service to the New Canaan Nature Center's Herb Garden. The Herb Garden, if you haven't been, is a very special place at the Nature Center and truly an important piece of its history. Plants that are grown there are used to attract birds and bees. They act as cover for the ground. They possess properties that are used in medicine. They can repel bugs and other pests. They're used in making materials such as fabric. And of course, they serve a variety of culinary uses. Sandy not only quite literally gets her hands dirty in the garden, but has also taken on additional roles, including managing supplies, hosting well-attended get-togethers, and helping others learn. The garden truly would not be the asset it is without Sandy. And ever the team player, Sandy told us that she believes the award really belongs to the garden itself. She wanted to be sure that we also acknowledged a group of fantastic volunteers, Kathy LaPola, Sophia Tornas, and especially plants woman Stephanie Hutter, as well as the many amazing people she has met in her years volunteering. Thank you so much, Sandy, for treating New Canaan and our visitors to such a special part of our Nature Center. Congratulations.
Good evening. I'm Jill Tobin, and I am honored and very excited to be here to present Feeding 500, the award for Outstanding Youth Group this year. So I believe there's 5 of you. If you could just identify yourselves. Yeah, they're there. Feeding 500, through fundraising, food collection, and volunteerism, we're able to feed 500 people at Open Doors in Norwalk. Nominated by the management at Open Doors for their dedication to members of the community most in need, the team collected $10,000 and in addition $5,000 in food items between March and June of this year. And they did this all as high school students, in addition to their daily academic, athletic, and extracurricular activities. Feeding 500 is 100% high school student designed, organized, and implemented with the mission to have local students commit to, be responsible for, and ultimately feed members of the community that are most in need. These students not only recognized the need, but responded with a call to action. Those actions created a real impact in our community. Feeding 500 continues to grow through grassroots efforts as team members recruit and collaborate with interested students in other towns to expand this program. Rumor has it, Darien has accepted the challenge and has agreed to 1,000 meals next year. Their efforts not only accomplish their mission to provide meals, but also increase community awareness of the importance and impact of Open Doors. You are truly outstanding, and it is with great pleasure to present you with a group award for our Outstanding Youth Volunteer Group. Congratulations.
This is a great evening. I get a second bite at the apple, and I love it. Okay. It is my profound pleasure to present the New Canaan Community Foundation's 2021 Youth Most Valuable Player Award to William Sweet. I'm quite certain that everyone in this room has visited the New Canaan Nature Center at least once, and many of us have done so multiple times. The grounds and exhibits are cared for with what can be described only as loving care, and William is truly a provider of such care in his work for the Nature Center. He's been a Nature Center volunteer since the beginning of 6th grade, working 300 hours. I did the math, that's the equivalent of 125 24-hour days in the animal care facility and on the grounds. During the pandemic-limited period, William turned his energies and skills to the grounds exclusively, creating trails, clearing undergrowth, supervising other volunteers, and doing serious vine cutting. That last activity grew out of his research on vines gone wild. You may have some at your house. They contribute to global warming by killing trees. Once a tree dies, it releases all of the CO2 it has been sequestering, and the atmosphere suffers. And there endeth tonight's science lesson. But there is more. William cleared years of overgrowth in the area next to the Presbyterian Church playground, making it usable again for hiking and teaching about native plantings. In recognition of this Herculean effort, the Nature Center is thinking of renaming the area Williams Grove. Aww. William has also fostered, with lots of Nature Center volunteers, as well as a battalion of town gardeners, a project to plant additional trees, plants, and flowers in this area to be an extension of the pollinator pathway. Whew, I'm exhausted just recounting all of William's achievements. So without further ado, William, we are thrilled to recognize you as the Community Foundation's Youth Most Valuable Player for 2021.
Ethel Percy Andrus, the founder of AARP, put it this way: the human contribution is the essential ingredient. It is only through the giving of ourselves to others that we truly live. The Jim Cole Inspiration Award recognizes someone in New Canaan in the community who, through their contribution, sparks enthusiasm and passion in others to generate new ideas, to make new commitments, to be better people. I don't know anyone whose inspiration sparks more enthusiasm and passion than Lila Coleman. For that matter, I don't know anyone who is more enthusiastic or passionate than Lila Coleman. Since the early days of Waveney Care Center in the 1970s, Lila Coleman has devoted love, joy, and kindness to the Waveney family of residents, patients, and staff. Lila is their longest-serving volunteer with more than 40 years of service and thousands of hours in many roles. Those roles have included playing a leadership role on the board, serving on the development committee, and as a hands-on volunteer playing the piano for social hour. The thought of being entertained by Lila playing the American Songbook with a Campari in one hand, possibly with a splash of vodka, makes me consider applying for early entry to Waveney. Lila has hosted meetings at her home and volunteered in the cafe as the cashier. During the COVID pandemic, Lila remained active, sending letters and video messaging to encourage and uplift essential healthcare staff in the difficult and challenging time. The staff were so inspired by Lila, they compiled their own video with numerous greetings. And as the lockdown ended, Lila was the first volunteer to return to duty inside. According to Waveney Care, quote, Lila has an all-in personality, and her parting words are most often, "Let me know how I can help," which symbolize her very nature. We are honored and privileged to count Lila as our most dedicated volunteer and supporter and a dear friend, unquote. Lila was also among the founders of Staying Put, the nonprofit dedicated to helping seniors live independently in New Canaan. And she's been a major force behind its success, devoting her time and resources to the creation of the organization. She was for many years an active volunteer driver, transporting older seniors to their appointments. Most importantly, Lila has served 5 times as the hospitable, Hawaiian hostess for Staying Put's annual Luau Friendraiser event in her beautiful backyard. Barbara, I need to get an invite to that. Barb Aikenbaum said, and I quote, "I know it's a good day when I call Lila to ask for help," and she says, "Of course I can do that, darling. Happy to help. You girls are doing such wonderful things for us old folks." Lila is the example of volunteerism we should all want to emulate. Someone who lives and enjoys life to the fullest while managing to give back so much more than they take. And Lila gives, all caps, with a smile, a song, and the occasional dance in a grass skirt. But Lila's greatest gift is not just what she selflessly does for our community. It is the example she sets for all of us to be better people, knowing that it takes all of us to make New Canaan thrive, and doing it because it's the right thing to do. Lila is a true inspiration. We love you, Lila. Please accept the Jim Cole Inspiration Award for all the inspiration that you give to all of us.
Thank you, New Canaan. All I need all to say. Thank you, New Canaan. I've been here 64 years, straight from my honeymoon.
So lastly, we had so many nominations this year, and we wanted to give special shout out to multiple people. So here we go. That's me, right? Okay. So to the New Canaan Health Department, EMS, the Police Department, the Fire Department, CERT, and Public Works, who all put themselves at risk during the pandemic and were incredibly compassionate during emergencies in the heat of the COVID outbreak. They also helped with town-wide mask distribution, administered COVID testing, vaccinations, as well as driving in the birthday parades, which were 7 days a week for months, and made a lot of little kids happy. We'd also like to recognize the Staying Put Soup Deliverers, which were a group of 12 volunteers ranging in age from 20 to 85, who every Tuesday for almost a year delivered soup to 60 seniors. For many of them, this was their only interaction during isolation, and it made a huge difference in their mental health.
We'd like to recognize John Engel. He ran the 4 o'clock Tuesday calls during COVID that brought together local and state officials, also businesses, not-for-profits, and community members as a way of communicating needs and problems. We'd also like to recognize the New Canaan Moms Facebook group. They started the New Canaan Moms Collective Fund, which purchased gift cards for emergency services, the elderly, and those struggling financially. The group also promoted the nationally known Front Door Project, which paired local photographers with families to raise money for needs that arose as a result of the pandemic.
Next is Chef Prasad. He was one of the first restaurants to respond to families facing financial hardship in New Canaan during the pandemic. He had a no questions asked and no payment required policy for pickup orders. Also, Michael Chen, who worked with Governor Lamont, Attorney General of Connecticut William Tong, U.S. Ambassador Huang Ping, Grace Farms, and U.S. Customs. He was instrumental in securing hundreds of thousands of PPE for healthcare and emergency professionals in Connecticut.
We'd like to recognize our tremendous Board of Education and the New Canaan Public Schools teachers and staff. These men and women all worked tirelessly and more hours than they probably ever dreamed of to keep our kids safe and in school for more days than pretty much most of the towns around us. Everyone adapted quickly to new technology, teaching, and communication methods, and as a parent, I'm super grateful, and I know a lot of us, pretty much all of us, are. We'd also like to recognize Chris Pohl. Chris successfully guided the New Canaan YMCA through the most challenging period in their 67-year history as their new board chair just right before COVID hit. The YMCA is a huge asset to our town and is an important part of many people's routines, particularly to our special needs and our elderly community. One more paper.
So that is the end of all of our awards for tonight. And we would like to thank you all for attending and supporting all of our volunteers. We would like to thank the staff and board of the Community Foundation, and especially Meg. Where did she go? Oh, there she is, over there. Their newest associate, who came in late to the party here, but quickly got up to speed. I promise it will be easier next year.
We would like to thank, from the bottom of our hearts, our generous event sponsors, Educational Futures, Carl Chevrolet, the New Canaan YMCA, Nuvance Health, Personal Training Professionals, Rand Insurance, and Walter Stewart's.
And also a thank you to all the people that actually wrote and submitted all of the nominations. Our small but mighty committee had a lot of hard decisions to make this year. But we love reading and seeing and hearing about all of the amazing volunteer work that is done that a lot of people don't know what people do, so.
I'd like to also thank Tracy, who's been, how many years have you been on this committee, Tracy?
19?
19. And co-chaired with me this year and got me up to speed, and it was just so fun to work with, and it's been great. Thank you so much for
you.
thinking of me, and
you.
hopefully we can snag you next year as a reader.
Thank you.